Hello, I'm Jenna and welcome to my channel where I use mixed media art journaling as a way of spending time with God and worshipping and praising and listening to Him. I created this page in just 10 to 15 minutes to hopefully inspire you to have a go, even if you only have a small amount of time. So I sat down today without any preconceived ideas about what I wanted to pray about or think about, but I did have an idea for an art technique that I wanted to try out. So I'm starting off by adding a bit of wax to the page in the form of a wax candle, just some marks, some lines, and that's going to act as a resist to the watercolour I'm going to use later. This is white gesso, and the technique that I wanted to try out was using gesso as a kind of modelling paste through a stencil. I've never bought and used modelling paste, but I thought I'd try gesso instead through this pattern stencil, which you can see leaves the pattern on the page in a kind of relief. So I'm adding it in random patches around the page, some of it right to the edge. And now ideally I would wait for that to dry before adding anything else. But because I'm trying to do this in 10 minutes, I'm just plodding on, going straight in there with some watercolour. And I thought I'd start with some green. This is a sap green, which I really love. A yellowy green is probably my all-time favourite colour. And I'm trying to drip this around the page in the hope that it would run through the stencil design, sort of picking up the background of the stencil design. But to be honest, it's not working very effectively. I am getting some drips, but they don't seem to be working their way through the stencil in quite the way I thought they would. It might be because the gesso is still extremely wet, and that is proving a bit of a problem because I'm kind of accidentally smudging it and splodging it with my hand and with the paintbrush. But hey, we're just going with it. There's a sense of not really being in control with this page today, and I was thinking about the Holy Spirit and how Jesus describes it as the wind, and how the wind blows wherever it pleases. And by adding both the wax and the gesso to the page, I've kind of given up the control with this paint so that it's just going wherever it pleases, really. And I feel very much like this page could go anywhere and that I'm not in control. So I'm just releasing that control to God as I paint. And that's no bad thing for me, just to spend some time giving up control to God. I'm quite a controlling person. I like to be in charge and have everything pinned down if I can. And I guess my art is the one area of my life where I try to experiment with not being like that, and trusting the process and trusting God that it will work out. And so I'm working really loosely today. I'm now just flicking some paint around in yellows and greens. I'm really loving all these fresh spring-like colours and tones. And I've got a song that's appeared in my head. It's a worship song by the band Gungor, I think. And the line in the song that I'm thinking of is "Life is breaking out." And it's like a kingdom proclamation that God is at work. Even when we can't see Him, He's working, and new life is springing up. So I'm getting my Neo Colour crayon and I'm just writing down what has popped into my head so that I capture that on the page. And I try and do that. I try and respond quickly to anything that comes into my head that I think might be of the Lord. I try and capture it quickly on my page, either with words or with an image, just so that I've got it down. And it might not stay there, I might cover it up later. I've now got an Inktense pencil, and so I'm just journaling my thoughts around life breaking out, and actually writing some questions around this, some kind of what if questions, which is a response to the kind of freedom of the page and the feeling of life and growth. I don't really enjoy having my handwriting as the main feature on a page, but I do like it as this kind of background element where I can just do a brain dump of my thoughts as a kind of prayer. So I've gone looking for some collage elements now, particularly looking for something green, and I found this little scrap and pulled it out because it was green. And then I turned it over and it had the word go on the other side, and that was the moment where this page came alive to me, as I really felt this was the message that God was speaking into that sense of freedom and kingdom life, that there was a kind of commissioning, really. Obviously the Great Commission starts with the word go into all the world. So I wrote these words, what if go meant somewhere else? And as we're moving out of lockdown here in the UK and thinking about what life will look like, what the new practice of church might be, I just got a sense that this was an opportunity for me and my church, but maybe also for you and your church, just to think about where we might be and go in this new season, and what if that was going to be different from what we were used to. So that's really exciting, isn't it? I'd love to know what you think. Maybe you could let me know in the comments below. Do you think we should go back to doing church as we've always done it? Or do you think this lockdown and pandemic is an opportunity to step into something new? So that's my page for today. I hope you've enjoyed watching me create it. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next Tuesday. God bless.